Welcome to Behind the Scenes at Andrew Pickett Law, bringing excellence, compassion, and relentless advocacy to life's toughest moments. From car accidents to insurance battles, we guide, support, and advocate for you every step of the way. My name is Andrew Pickett. I'm the owner of Andrew Pickett Law in Melbourne, Florida. We specialize in personal injury and wrongful death cases. Today I'm here with Allison, the marketing coordinator at our office, and we're here to talk about what you do after you're in a car accident.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
You're welcome.
So initially, let's talk about what motivated you to want to work in personal injury.
So I began my career as a prosecutor. So I was working in Viera at the state attorney's office, and I was prosecuting crimes on behalf of the state. And so it was as a prosecutor that I really developed a love for being in the courtroom and being a trial lawyer. But at the same time, I was also advocating on behalf of victims of crimes. And so once I made the decision that I didn't want to be a prosecutor my whole career, I was looking into areas in the private sector that I could continue on the work of advocating for victims. And so personal injury was a natural fit for me because as a personal injury attorney, I'm speaking on behalf of a victim. And instead of facing a criminal defendant, we're facing an insurance company or a corporation where we're representing the underdog. So it was really kind of a natural progression, not only in also doing trial work, but also representing victims.
Mm-hmm. And when you say underdog, what do you mean by that?
What I mean by underdog is that an individual who is injured is going up against an insurance company with billions of dollars and unlimited resources. And so if that person is left alone, they're going to get taken advantage of. And insurance companies make their money by taking advantage of people. And when they don't have an attorney, it's a lot easier for them to get taken advantage of. And so what I view my role as the attorney is to kind of level the playing field so that they have somebody in their corner fighting for them and not letting an insurance company take advantage of them.
Okay, so now let's dive into, I was in a car accident. What should I do first? What's the very first thing someone should do after a car accident?
Well, the very first thing someone should do is to just make sure that they're okay. So to check themselves out, make sure that they don't have any visible injuries, kind of take an inventory head to toe about what parts of their body are bothering them, and check on any passengers, making sure they're okay. So that's kind of first and foremost is your own health. But after that, while you're at the scene, making sure that you document the property damage, which would involve taking pictures of both vehicles involved, videos if you can, gathering insurance information and the names of any other drivers involved. Those are all important to do at the scene.
So what if I'm in an accident and the person that hit me keeps going or drives off? How am I able to document the car accident when I don't have the other person there?
Yeah, well, that can be tough. If you can get the license plate, that definitely helps. A lot of times, law enforcement can track somebody down, but certainly calling law enforcement is helpful. So that if you don't get the license plate, you can at least have a description of the car, and they can eventually track them down. Worst case scenario, you don't find out who it is, but you still may have a claim because you can make a claim through your uninsured motorist coverage if you get involved in a hit and run driver with an unidentified defendant. So the best that you can get the tag number and the description, but certainly call law enforcement. And it doesn't mean you can't make a claim if you can't identify the other driver.
Okay. Maybe looking into any witnesses that might have seen the car accident, somebody who was behind you, somebody who was in front of you, reaching out to them to see if they knew the person or what type of car it was. Because I don't know about you, but I don't know the difference between an Acura and a Mazda. So
yeah, certainly witness statements can be very helpful in that regard. So a lot of times, Good Samaritans will come to the scene of an accident and getting their names and contact information so the police can follow up with them to see if they can identify the driver. Another thing too is that particularly if a car accident happens near a business, there may be surveillance. So video cameras that capture the actual accident can help track down who the other driver was.
Okay, so it's like Ring cameras on your house.
Yeah, and in fact, we've had cases with Ring cameras actually record car accidents.
Oh. And you can reach out to the property owner and be like, "Hey, can I have the footage from your Ring camera?" Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought I only used that to communicate with my husband on the weekends. Okay, so what are some of the most common questions or fears we get from people here at Andrew Pickett Law right after a car accident?
So I think a lot of people just have a general sense of being overwhelmed,
Mhm.
especially if they haven't been in an accident before. They don't know how the process works. They don't know how long it's going to take. They don't know how their medical bills are going to be paid. They don't know whether they should be talking to the insurance company, what doctor to see. It can be just a very overwhelming experience if you haven't been through it before. And so, what we're looking for as far as what we want to communicate to a client who's feeling that overwhelm is that we want to make them feel reassured so that they know that we have their back, that we're taking over all of the stress of dealing with the insurance company, with the medical provider, so they can focus on just getting better. So we do these cases day in and day out. We've handled hundreds, if not more than thousands of these cases at this point. So we know how insurance companies operate. And part of what we want to give to the client is this reassurance that once they hire us, they don't have to worry about any of that. They can just focus on getting better.
That's amazing. So, say I'm in an accident and like right after the accident, I'm getting all of the information, I'm documenting, but I feel fine. Like I don't feel like I'm injured. Why is it important for me to seek medical attention anyway?
So a lot of times injuries don't show up right away. And the reason for that is that when you're in a car accident, your adrenaline kicks in and that can mask pain. And so you want to get checked out so that you can make sure that if something develops later on, you get it documented at the outset. And sometimes there can be things that show up on diagnostic tests like x-rays or MRIs that you might not be experiencing pain, but it's a serious injury. And so getting that early documentation is really important. What it also does is that takes away the argument that the insurance company can make later on that you didn't get immediate treatment. That's an argument that they like to make a lot. If somebody waits a few days to get treatment, the argument from the insurance company is, well, if you would have really been hurt, then you would have gotten medical treatment. And so getting that document early will defeat that argument.
Have you seen cases where, like, significantly where the insurance company has made that argument? Say I'm in a car accident and I can't get an appointment. So I go to urgent care 3 or 4 days later. Have they made that argument against?
They make that in every case. So anything that they can use to justify making a lowball offer, denying your claim, they will. And one of the most common arguments is a gap or delay in treatments.
Okay. So say I don't have like a regular family doctor I go to. Is it okay for me to just go to a regular urgent care or?
Yep. Yeah. So I think the most important thing early on is just getting seen somewhere, whether that's at an urgent care or an ER. But what people don't realize is that you can use your own insurance for that. And so in Florida, we're required to have what's called personal injury protection or PIP benefits, and that will cover your medical bills regardless of whether you're at fault. And so, as long as the provider that you're seeing takes your auto insurance, you can get treatment.
Oh, okay. So say I'm worried about going to the urgent care right after an accident because I don't have enough money to make my copay that day, or I don't have the $150 out of pocket to pay for it. That's something that I can use my auto insurance to pay for.
Right, exactly. And so, all you would need to do prior to going to the urgent care is just opening up a claim with your insurance company
Okay.
under your PIP or no fault benefits.
hmm
And then you simply give that claim number to whatever provider you're seeing.
And is there a time frame on being able to use that benefit, like after your car accident?
Yeah, so you have, in order for you to qualify for PIP or no fault benefits, you have to be seen within 14 days. And so getting that initial visit early on is also important for making sure you don't jeopardize your PIP coverage. So the sooner the better.
Okay. hmm So what should somebody be documenting at the scene of an accident?
So the most important is property damage, and that's taking pictures both of your car and the other car at the scene. If you can get video, even better, and trying to get it from many different angles so that you're kind of fully documented. If there are any skid marks in the roadway, getting photographs of that. Um, the videos and pictures can also capture the weather conditions. A lot of times people will take photos of the other person's insurance card or driver's license, um, as well as the gathering the names of any witnesses. Those are all important to get at the scene.
I didn't even think about the fact that you could take pictures of the skid marks on the road or the weather. Like today's weather is not that great, but in a video, you would be able to see the weather.
Exactly. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. So how soon should somebody contact a lawyer? Why does the timing matter?
So the answer would be as soon as possible. Really, after you've checked out yourself and make sure you're okay, you should call a lawyer. And it's interesting because a lot of people think that they should call the insurance company first. And I think that what motivates that concern is people think that if they don't report the claim to the insurance company from the scene, they're not going to be able to make a claim.
Mm.
But the problem is when you speak with an insurance company, especially when you don't have a lawyer, they're going oftentimes to try to box you into some sort of statement that could hurt your case later on. And so the benefit of having an attorney is to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of by the insurance company during those initial phone calls.
Does like a adrenaline come into play? Like I feel like if I were in a car accident and I have adrenaline like running through my veins and I'm talking to the insurance company, I would say things I wouldn't necessarily mean,
Right.
or I would be overly dramatic, or fortunately maybe not enough dramaticness.
I think that does come into play. When you're reporting an accident from the scene, you can tend to be in an excited state. And I think adrenaline does have a factor, which also, as we mentioned earlier, has a factor in kind of masking pain. So if the insurance company asks you from the scene whether you're injured and you say no because you're not feeling pain right away, that could be used against you later on.
So from your perspective, what's the biggest relief clients feel after they connect with Andrew Pickett Law?
I think it's just this stress relief of not having to worry about everything, especially if you haven't been through it before. And so just knowing that you're being taken care of and guided through the process by somebody who's done this for years and handles these types of cases every day. And so the clients already have enough to worry about with their injuries and trying to recover. And what we try to take away is all the other stress, the paperwork, the insurance, um, coordinating medical providers, so they can just focus on getting better.
Can you think of an example, or like what's one mistake you see people make early on that might hurt their case later?
Oh, one would be speaking with the insurance company without having an attorney, which can be detrimental in a couple ways. One is when you admit something that you shouldn't, or perhaps you say something earlier on that changes, like that you're not hurt at the beginning, but your pain shows up later on. So just kind of getting locked into those early comments about your injuries. Another mistake is accepting a settlement too early. A lot of times the insurance companies will try to settle the claim with you early on and offer you a few $1,000s to settle the case before you really know what your injuries are. So that can be a big mistake as well. Um, Another mistake is just really not getting medical treatment early on. The longer that you go without getting medical treatment, the more it's going to hurt your case.
So if I'm on the phone with my insurance company and I say something, do they record those? Do they record those phone calls?
They usually do. And they'll usually give a disclaimer that they're recording it. But you should assume that anytime you talk to your insurance company, they're recording.
And it could be used against me.
Absolutely.
Okay. So how does Andrew Pickett's Law like approach compassion, excellence, relentless advocacy, make the client journey different from a different client journey at another firm?
Well, I think that one of the ways that we try to differentiate ourselves is that we really try to make each client feel like they're an important person, that we care about them as a person. And we try to be very empathetic with understanding the fact that this is probably the first time they've ever dealt with this. Even though we do this day in and day out, we try to put ourselves in their shoes. And so, understanding all the stress they're feeling, we try to take that stress away by guiding them through the process in a very methodical way. And so, I think that's where we really show our compassion. As far as kind of our approach to case handling and how we differentiate ourselves, I think that we really try to prepare each case as if it could go to trial. And what that means is doing a thorough investigation, no matter how big or how small the case. Because a lot of times at the outset, you don't know how big the case is going to be. And so, although we don't have to go to trial on most cases, we want to be prepared just in case. And we want to build up that case from the outset by giving every single case the attention that it deserves.
Okay. So, before we close up, what reassurance would you give somebody that's just been in an accident and they feel completely overwhelmed right now and they just don't know what to do?
I would say that the most important thing is calling an experienced attorney who handles these cases regularly, because the attorney can really guide them through the process and take away that overwhelm. And so when somebody calls our firm, we want them to know that we've got their back, that we're going to take them through the process and guide them through every step of the way so that they can focus on trying to get better.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me today talking about I was in a car accident. What should I do first?
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Scenes at Andrew Pickett Law, where we fight for you every step of the way.